Greetings out there in YouTube land. This is Morris, man. As always, I thank you for coming to my channel. I guess I'm going to entitle this one of my next to last reverb transactions conclusion. I think like maybe around the first of the month, I purchased a sound module, and it looks like this one. Now this one here is, I think it's drum and bass. Yep, upside down. And that particular one that I ordered came through Reverb, didn't work. And the one I just showed you, plus this one, which is strings, these came after I made that mistake of purchasing that one. And they work. They came from Guitar Center. I plugged them up and I made it up to channels. Channel 1 to receive and transmit on channel 1, and channel 1 to receive and transmit on the controller. Nothing. I bothered tinker with that thing for over an hour. And like I said, these things here, the ones I just showed you, they're identical as far as the parameters and everything that you go into. They're the same identical box. The only difference between each and every one of these is they just got a different set of sounds. That's it. Nothing internally is different. Nothing externally is different. They're the same. Like I told you, these two came after that one, which I sent back about 4 days ago, and they work. The other one didn't work. So I contacted the seller. He was quite condescending and belligerent. And I told him I don't have time for this nonsense. It's just going back. And he sent me another message after that. I didn't bother to read it because I'm like, there's nothing else to be said. This is going back. So I submitted the refund, and he kind of tried to block it. And Reverb stepped in. And that's like I said, Reverb is a good site as far as customer service. They just got a bad selection of sellers. You know, it's not the people that Reverb is, it's the people that sell on their site. Most of them are selling their stuff 2 to 3 times as much as it's worth. It's just ridiculous. I'm like, I've never seen that gouging that bad anywhere. I mean, where else can you go and see the same item 3 times higher in price? Sometimes 4, you know, because like I told you, I bought a module, drum module. I paid $230 for it. There's a guy on the internet right now. He wants $1,200 for his. It's the exact same thing. $1,200, $200, $1,200. You know, that's over $1,000 more. It's just insane and ridiculous. So I'm going to officially take a long break from Reverb because I'm tired of dealing with those types of sellers. And it's the type of seller that think you're stupid and like you don't know the proper procedure of sending this back. That's when it's either not as described or not working. You know, so I sent it back a couple of days ago. It got to them, I think yesterday. Reverb sent me a email saying your money's going to be refunded. And then the guy sent me a message, real belligerent, real disrespectful. I'm not even going to read it because I read the first line and I was dumb like, I got my money back now. So this case or this ship has sailed. So I don't know why you still trying to sling mud. You know, it's like, dude, go somewhere and sit down, you know. And something told me to check his feedback, which is what I normally do. But this time, well, like I said, I'm not dealing with them now anymore, so I ain't got to worry about it. I was like, in the future, I'll check feedback each and every time because sometimes I do and sometimes I just didn't. And on Reverb, all of the people that I checked feedback, 100% of them got 100%. There was no neutral. There was no negative. All the ones that I've checked, every single person checked out, except for this guy. He had about 15% of negative feedback, and I see why, because he don't know how to keep his mouth shut when we shouldn't be talking. It's like, hey, this is overdue. So I don't know why you still want to send stuff out here and act like a little kid, you know, grown-ass man. You know, so it's good that when you worked in corporate America, some things you keep with you, you learn a lot. And one thing that I learned was document everything. Get everything on paper, you know, digital form. So when it's time to present your case, you get all this stuff. And still, this is what he said. And the people that's, you know, overseeing the case, they don't know who's telling the truth, because it's like, well, this guy said this and this guy said this, as opposed to this guy got proof that he said that because he got it still here. So I cut and paste the two very unprofessional, belligerent comments that he left, and I sent it to REVERB support. I said, this guy is now harassing me, so you need to block him, and you need to remove this. So I don't know if he didn't care, or he was just stupid enough to realize, not a good idea, dude. Don't send electronic stuff with you tripping, and then you're going to claim that you didn't trip, and it's like, there's the proof right there. He sent it today, both of these. But it's just so unfortunate that you got people that just think they could walk over you, and they're going to win even when they're wrong. Because here's another case, and then I'm going to sign off. Kind of similar to this one. Kind of, but yeah, kind of similar. So the guy sold me a module off REVERB. And there was nothing, because like I said, I've been working with these things for like 30 plus years. I've owned hundreds of these, and I've worked with hundreds of these. And one thing that I learned was when you turn on the screen and it says really quickly, check battery or replace battery, that's not a good thing, because what has to happen is, because physically changing the battery is not a big deal. And even buying the battery, it's like $5 or $10. The problem is once you remove that battery out that back, all those sounds go away. So you hope that you already had it back up, because you already got it backed up, because normally they would send you a memory card that you back it up. And it's like, okay, because in about 10 years, depending on how long I use this thing, how much I use it, that battery's going to go, because those batteries last about 10 years. Some a little longer, some a little shorter. So when they got here, I turned it on, I seen it, I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, this wasn't described in the message. I'm like, and I emailed him quickly, like, dude, this is going back because you got to change that battery. And I don't have the backup data for this, and he was like, and I was like, this is just not as described. And he kind of kept blowing me off. And then, because I forget how it transpired, but he wasn't trying to hear that, wasn't trying to get it back. I'm like, oh, yes, you are. So, because I knew the process of doing this. So, when you new to this, you don't know when people, they screw you. So I contacted REVERB and said, actually, I contacted PayPal first. But then I learned, go through REVERB first, and then if you got to, take it upstairs. So I took it upstairs, and PayPal got on him, and they forced him to send it back. And I never forget what he left in the message box, because we was going through the message box in PayPal. I'll send the fucker back. I'm like, that's what I was trying to do in the first place, you idiot. So he was forced, because he didn't think that there was a recourse, especially for the honest buyer. It's like, I didn't do anything wrong. You got your money. I got an item that's not as described, not even, and so it won't be working, But he thought that he was going to keep, my money, and I be forced to keep that piece of garbage of a sound margin. He was terribly wrong, and he was all salty about it. Send it back. And just like with this dude, I told him I'm sending this back. He tried to refuse the refund, and REVERB lit a fire on his little ass and cooked his little buns, and he was forced to give up the money. And the money came today. And, I'm like, they did what they supposed to have done. Because again, if there's no rules set in place, the sellers will be fucking the buyers all the time, Now, I know that there are some buyers that are scam artists too, but that's a small percentage. And I'm not talking about those guys that just honest dudes. I'm talking about the dudes that give you their money, and then you receive their item, and it's not working. It's not as described. He claimed it when he got it back, it was working. Well, I'm glad it worked for you. Didn't work for me. So it should be a happy ending to the story. You got your piece of garbage back, and I got my money. And we both need to just move on, keep it moving. Instead of, again, sending these nasty, unprofessional messages. I'm like, dude, I didn't do anything wrong. I gave you my money. I bought an item from you that showed up, and it didn't work. Because like I said, these two came after I got that one. Both of these work. As soon as I plugged it in and set the MIDI channels, they work. And like I told you, all of these are the same internally. They got the same menu, the same setup. So why was that one so special that it didn't work or won't work, refused to work? But at this point, I don't care. I got my money back. You got his item. I'm done with Reverb for a long time. You know, I might go back one day, but for the moment, I'm good. You know, I got everything that I need. And if I need another module, like I said, I'm eyeing Guitar Center is my, go-to company now, because I don't get no hassle returns. Guitar Center is not going to send me something nasty after they send me back my money, So I'm like, I ain't going through this. I'm not dealing with this nonsense because it's childish, So I'm like, goodbye, Reverb. So long, hello, Guitar Center again. So until next time, take care. But basically, the moral of this story is for you guys, if you think you're being screwed, most likely you are being screwed. And there are proper channels that you can go through to get your money back. Because again, that guy thought that I was going to be stuck with that piece of junk that he sent me. And I wasn't. They gave me a full refund, because I'm going to say this and I promise I'll sign off. Then you got some shady characters on Reverb where, say for instance, you spent $200 for the unit and $50 for shipping. So it's the total $250. It gets here, it's not to your liking. You force them to send, you a refund through the great people and the supporter of Reverb. And then they send you $200 back. It's like, what the fuck? I gave you $250. Oh, shipping and handling is not refundable. Oh, yes, it is. And they don't supposed to do that neither. So if you ever get, in that type of a deal, contact Reverb and say, hey, I didn't get my full refund. I was supposed to get $250 back, not $200, So again, you guys have recourses. Don't let nobody screw you when it comes to trying to do business over the internet and people think that they can screw you. And let me just say this, and I promise I'll sign off, because this one was hilarious. I ordered a brown chair from eBay. The chair came, it was green. And I sent them an email like, I ordered a brown chair because I ordered a brown to match carpet, and I got a green chair. Send us a picture of it. So I sent them a picture of the green chair that they sent me alongside of the old brown chair I was trying to get rid of. And you can see the difference in the color. And then I got this email back saying, and this was hilarious. I talked to my manager. He said, we sent y'all the brown chair. I sent you a picture of the chair you sent me, and it was green. Come on, huh? So I went back and forth with them, and they just started ignoring me. Okay. They figure if we don't say nothing to do nothing, it ain't nothing going to happen. And I contacted eBay and explained it to them and sent them a picture of that chair. And they contacted the seller, and they ignored eBay too. They said, if we ignore all of them, it'll go away. It'll go away. Okay. So they told me on a certain day, if they haven't responded and they can't prove any documentation that they didn't do what you claim they did, you get your money back. I said, well, what about the chair? Because I'm not trying to pack this up and send it to the post office chair, but we're about 70 pounds. They said, you keep the chair. I'm like, okay. So that day came, they didn't respond to eBay, and they ruled in my favor. 10 minutes after they ruled in my favor, now the chair people comes back. Oh, wait a minute. What? I'm like, the door's closed and the ship is sailed, And eBay told them, like, we've closed this case, You didn't respond on this date, and we gave you like a week and a half, and you ignored us like you did the buyer, and this is what you get, nothing. And like I said, eBay said, keep the chair. I'm like, okay, thanks. And now the chair's in my garage, And it's funny because they could have got their chair back. They could have made arrangements, but they thought they was going to win. They thought that there was no recourse for the buyer that just got screwed. So thank God for eBay and Reverb staff to make it right when it's supposed to be right, because this was not right. The dude sent me something, it wouldn't work. Then he get belligerent. He's forced to send it back and give me a refund, and now he's clowning like a little ass child, Till next time, take care. Thanks for watching. Goodbye, Reverb.